Welcome back to Light the Fuse, your Mission Impossible melody to soothe your worried soul. Charles, how you doing?
I'm doing great. I always love what you bring to these intros. It's great, Drew. Thank you for having me here with you.
Yeah, I mean, we recorded an episode recently where you almost got fired, which, you know, we can tease that now. But I'm really glad that you're here. And I'm, you know, I hope you stick around, Charles, is all I'm trying to say.
Oh, you're talking about one of our upcoming interviews in a few weeks that we had. We had someone who was so impressive that you wanted to replace me with that person.
Yeah, a lot of a lot of philosophical thought, a lot of thematic kind of investigation. You know, stuff that you usually don't find here because we're just wondering how Tom Cruise ate craft services or whatever. You know, like.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, you know, people bring different things to the table. But yes, I'm so glad to be here.
That's a good tease for an upcoming guest that we've got.
Yes, we do. And we're so excited because this week we have Ilia Volok, who is actually an actor in Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. So our commemorative episodes are continuing.
Yes. This is the second to last one. It's this week and next week, and then we're done with our Ghost Protocol programming.
For now. I like to think that it's just sort of
It's
paused.
never done.
Yeah.
Never done.
No. But he played the Fog, which is really interesting.
Yeah, we might want to remind people, too, who the Fog is. I mean, I feel like we throw around that name as if it's known to people, but it isn't really known who that is.
No, I mean, I think the first time I saw it was in the photo book.
Yes,
by
David James,
our friend, David James. Yeah. So
he's the kind of arms dealer, shady character that they go to after they fail in the Burj Khalifa and they let Hendricks get away. Then Ethan does his last resort, which is meeting with this guy to get some information. And it's this shady guy, you know, that Bogdan leads him to. That's the Fog.
Very clearly supposed to be Vanessa Redgrave's Max character from the original film. But
which we bring up to him in the interview. So
yes,
that's fun.
Yeah. Ilia is great. I think you're going to love hearing from him. And as our first actor from the movie, you know, we're excited about this one.
Yeah, definitely.
Before we get into it, though, Charles, you know, I got to give my my shout outs.
Yeah, let's hear
So my first shout out is to our friend Jeremy Dillon and his podcast, My Favorite Album, where each week he talks to a different musician, songwriter, actor, filmmaker about the music that they love and how it's influenced them and their work. And we actually did an episode with Jeremy a couple of months ago. It still has not aired. So wondering where that is, Jeremy. Maybe by the time this episode is up, it'll be out. But
finally. I'm sure the people out there are just on pins and needles, just waiting.
Yeah, particularly his audience, after hearing Casey Musgraves and Bob Odenkirk, are wondering where we are. So, yeah. But that'll be coming soon. And then we also want to thank John B., who has been a longtime supporter of the show, and we absolutely love him. So thank you, John. And also Elvis Ripley, who is a newer member, but somebody we just we really appreciate. And so thank everybody for contributing and helping this show continue to go on and grow. And I think that's it, right, Charles? We'll be back afterwards?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We are so blessed to be with the Fog himself. Ilya, you want to say your name so I don't...
Ilia Volok.
Oh, love it. I love it. Thank you for doing that and me not massacring it.
Yep.
So, yeah, how did you become involved with Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol?
I was just walking on Hollywood Boulevard and I met, the guy came up to me and said, you look good for a project. You want to be in it? No, I'm kidding. I actually, no, I actually, the casting director showed, because I did a film before called Abduction. It was with Michael Nichols and Tyler Lautner, directed by John Singleton, and the same casting director. She was involved in casting Mission Impossible 4, and I knew because I was, Michael Nyquist was main villain ended up being main villain in Mission Impossible 4. So anyway. So the casting director who was involved in abduction brought me in. Basically, they had this character. This character, that scene was written when actually the whole movie was already completed.
Right.
And they needed J.J. Abrams. I think they needed to have this link, the missing, like a missing element, and they wrote this character in.
Yes.
Yeah, it was already from what I know. And anyway, and then she showed my tape to Tom Cruise, and basically it was one of the rare projects where I didn't have to audition,
Right.
So that's how it happened.
Well, did JJ remember you from Alias?
I'm sure. Well, yeah. I mean, I'm sure. He did. But they had, over the years they had a lot of Russians, Eastern Europeans on that show. So I mean, it's like,
Right.
But I think it was, in a way, it's a small world. I mean, people kind of know each other. I mean, and the fact, I think the fact that I did Alias, it helped probably too. But
Right.
But it was, I think the casting director who was involved, and I assume they didn't have a lot of time to do the casting and to do the auditions, because it wasn't, they didn't put it out there like they usually do for the agents to submit clients and stuff like that.
Right.
I don't think maybe they did. I'm not sure. Maybe they did. I'm not sure. But the bottom line, I didn't have to read for it, which was great,
So when do you remember when you shot your scenes? Okay.
Either very late, the end, like December, something like of 2010, or the very beginning of 2011.
And this was in Canada?
Yeah, because they were finishing because they shot in Dubai and other places, but that was shot in Vancouver.
Yeah.
So what was it like sharing a scene with Tom Cruise?
It was overall, it was a great experience. It was they were very secretive about the script. Yeah, so when I talked to Michael Nyquist, he told me that they weren't even giving, the actors didn't have the full script, just like the scenes and stuff. There was a lot of that going on, and so basically, when I flew to Vancouver, it was Sunday morning or Saturday evening, and then Sunday morning I went for a fitting and the makeup and stuff. And then Monday, I was supposed to be on the set working, and I only got the scene that morning on Sunday. So I thought, originally I thought, I don't know, I thought it was going to be maybe some kind of an action scene or stuff, And when I looked at the script, I'm like, holy shit. I mean, it's like the whole scene, you know what I mean? Like, it's a lot of dialogue, and I mean, it takes time to memorize this and make it your own and stuff. So it's intense, because basically I locked myself in the room, for the whole day, and I was working on that text, but it was great. And then on the set, so it was a director and Tom, and he was very, very professional, very present. You could see, he's a producer also, so he wants to make sure that, but he's right there for all the takes, and he said, I'm here to help you, and and all that stuff. So it was very, very good.
So are you saying he was there for your side of when they were shooting your side of the coverage, and he's off camera, he was still there?
Yeah, because a lot of times, sometimes, no, he was there the whole, and when we got there, they were breaking down the scene and figuring out, with the director. And the director was, really good, specific. You could see that he, knows his stuff and knows how to work with actors, because he gave me a specific, things to like now talk to him like you are the sexiest man alive, like, for example. So it's a specific thing for an actor to grasp on, because some directors say, well, you speak a little quieter here, speak a little louder. Actually, that's how I heard. Well, I worked and I witnessed it too with Steven Spielberg. He doesn't necessarily give, like, again, maybe when the actors work with him in more detail, maybe it's different. But like, he would say, like, a little bit quieter here, a little bit not as loud here. You know what I mean?
Right.
But like, there are directors who know the acting approach. Where the actors come from in their skill. So, with the one suggestion or direction like that, okay, now I got it. I know how to, go in this take. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah.
Was McQuarrie there on set, or was it just Bird and Cruz and Ellswood, I'm assuming?
I'm because I don't know. I'm not sure I know him, him in his face. I mean,
Right.
well, I'm not sure there were. I mean, obviously there were a lot of people there, but
well, let me ask you this: did they describe who the Fog was to you? Like, who, when you walked on set, who was he? He was an arms dealer, obviously, but did they give you any kind of biographical detail about who he was, why he was called the Fog, or any of that stuff?
Well, they told me that he's a facility. He's basically he's in it for, obviously, for money, but in the same, and we discussed that, and in the way he also trying to avoid, the craziness too, the disaster, and trying to help in a way, the Tom Cruise character. So I remember that we were discussing that it's not just necessarily for, pure profit.
Right. He doesn't want nuclear war to start either. Okay.
Yeah. So there was that. Yeah, we talked, and it's interesting. I remember I made, I kind of had put my 2 cents in, and meaning, what is at stake for me, for Fog. And it was interesting, like, I remember, Tom Cruise took it in, like, kind of processing, not just like, okay, I know what I'm doing or whatever, but he was receptive and, thought about it. I don't know, I don't remember he was agreeing with that or what, but it was interesting. He registered the, suggestion, which is important for any creative process, no matter what level you're at. But if you only stick with your own agenda, and from the get-go you dismiss everything, that you might sacrifice some interesting surprises or some creative finds. So basically, he was open.
Well, what was your suggestion?
You know what? No, it was suggestion. It was about the character and what's for me as a Fog at stake, and whether I'm doing it just for. I think that was my point.
Oh, that's what you added?
Yeah, I think whether I'm doing it just for the pure profit, or because from my point of view, this approach would add complexity to the character. Or additional, thought, that's what's interesting for audience to watch, whether they realize it or not. But when you have something else going on, which most of us human do, that's what's interesting to watch. As you see all the great actors, like, take Pacino, Russell Crowe, they have a lot of stuff going on behind the lines, and that's what's the more, to me, it's the most, that's what I teach my students too. It's not about the words, it's about what's behind by your intentions, because people say one thing, they think something else, and they do totally different thing. So that's what's interesting for for audiences to observe, whether they understand that or not. But subconsciously they get. It's more interesting that they get attracted to that, to the thought process, to the real behavior and stuff. Anyway, so
Right.
yeah, I think I think that was my point.
Right.
I'm curious about the blocking of the scene, and how that came about. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, Cruz is just sitting through the whole scene. Your character is kind of leaning against something, and then you're sort of like counting something in the palm of your hand a little bit, and then at a certain point in the scene, then you stand up and face him, sort of shoulder, with your shoulders squared to him. It's very simple, but kind of blocking. I'm curious, what was the process of that? Did was it sort of presented to you, or did you guys find it as you went about, like rehearsing?
Yeah, we were. I mean, I'm sure the director, thought about stuff before, but a lot of stuff they found over there. When we put it on its feet, so to say. And I guess the whole approach, the whole suggestion from the director and from Tom, that I'm not really like. I'm not doing much. I don't have to, do much because, I have the information, I have the power, and that was kind of. But I think that blocking was found over there. I mean, it's always in the creative process. You may see in your head the whole thing how you want it, but then still, when it comes to, especially in this kind of situation, we don't have much time to, rehearse so I'm sure you have to make some adjustments and, alter it on the spot. Yeah. So that was a lot of that stuff was, found when we actually got there.
Right. And this was on a soundstage in Vancouver?
Yes. It's interesting. Yeah, I remember it was interesting. Yeah, because I right across. I think it was a few months ago. I mean, a few months before, or maybe 1 month or 2 months, I was working on this show in Vancouver, Supernatural, and I went across and said hello to those people to the from the that show, So it was interesting. I remember, it was right there on the stages.
Did they explain to you like sort of the mechanics of who you were calling afterwards, and you're ratting out Tom Cruise to the Russian cop and all of that stuff, or were they just sort of like, you get on the phone with somebody, we'll figure out who it's going to be later?
No, they told me that. I knew that I'm calling this this Russian guy. Yeah, I don't remember all the details what they told me, but yeah, it was. I was explained. Although I never had a script,
Right.
So that's kind of tough. I mean, you make your choices. You try to make it natural, and you create your story. For yourself. I mean, it's really helpful to to know what's going on. Yeah, I mean,
right.
Did you have much interaction with Robert Elswit, the cinematographer? I love the way he lit you in this scene. You're so dark in the, there's like a hot spot behind you on the whatever they are. There's more. The lighting it's more brightly lit on like the things behind you in the background, and you're in this kind of interesting silhouette. Like just it's just awesome. Did you have much interaction with Elswit?
I didn't even know how they're gonna do it with the. I remember one of the. One of my friends or somebody's comments were, "Oh, they had problem with the lighting in that scene or something." I mean, is that my TV, or is that a copy of of my DVD? Or I said, "Wow, the character is Foggy." Yeah.
Were you disappointed when you saw what it looked like? I mean, were you aware of how they were lighting you?
No, I was great. I mean, it's, obviously, from what my understanding, they were going in that direction, and but the name of the character is Fog, yeah? I mean, it's kind of a little bit, it presents, the name justifies, yeah? the way this scene was lit too. Obviously, it's a vision, and no, it was great. I thought the movie was great. People loved it. I think it did very well in the box office too. Yeah, I mean, it was
Yeah.
yeah. Overall, it was a great unexpected experience.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Did you know who you replaced in the movie? Did they tell you this at all?
Oh, replaced?
Yeah.
Oh no, I You kidding?
No. I mean, your character was supposed to be played by Vanessa Redgrave, who was in the first movie. She was supposed to come back and be in the fourth one, which is why your henchman is the same guy from the first movie. But yeah, they
My henchman?
yeah, the guy that puts the hood over Cruz's head, the kind of long-haired blonde guy.
Oh,
That's the guy from the first movie who does the same thing to Cruz, does with the same hood.
the same character? No,
Yes. Yeah.
but not the same actor.
Yes,
Yeah.
the same actor. They found the same guy.
But you're not talking about not the Eastern European guy, not the like a comedic guy, no?
No, not the guy who played Bogdan. No.
Yeah, not
So he was
Bogdan.
never in a scene with you.
No, what do you mean? I mean the guy, the Eastern European guy.
Yeah, he was in the scene he was in the hangar with you, right?
The blonde guy was?
Not the
No,
blonde.
not the blonde guy.
That's what I'm saying. The blonde guy who was from the first movie
Oh,
never shared a scene with you.
Yeah.
But he does
Got
bring
it.
Tom Cruise to
Oh
you.
wow.
Yes.
So Vanessa Redgrave was supposed to play that part?
Yeah. Do you remember the first movie at all?
I watched it, but I don't remember the
character.
So who was she playing?
She was playing this character Max, who's an arms dealer, and they wanted to bring her back to kind of tie it into the first movie, and they couldn't come to an agreement with her.
Wow.
So your character, I believe, was completely written, Charles, correct me if I'm wrong, by McQuarrie, right?
I think that's true. I think McQuarrie came in to assist in the
Wow.
rewrite of no longer having Vanessa Redgrave on the table.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So if she would have come back, it would be just those two scenes, yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's why that guy was rehired and shot as your henchman, because they were pushing off having to shoot with Vanessa Redgrave to try to figure this deal out, and then ultimately it didn't happen. So now you I guess inherited her goon
Wow.
from her operation.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Man, 10 years later, I'm. Oh wow,
We're just exposing it all for you.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
And they made it. Well, they made it. I guess they made it. But she would have played a British character, or
Yeah, she's like a British arms dealer, kind of. I don't know. How would you explain her, Charles? An operative in that world?
Yeah, I guess some kind of mover and shaker, arms dealer. Yeah, makes sense.
Oh wow, interesting. Wow.
Yeah.
Drew, did you have any more questions about Mission Impossible? Because I wanted to ask about a couple other things in his career.
Oh, I wonder what else you're going to ask about, Charles.
Well, I will surprise you first. I wanted to ask you about working with Mike Nichols
Yeah, that was
on Charlie Wilson's War.
Charlie Wilson's War. Yeah, it was. I remember. We had we have smaller parts. We have those Russian pilots who get shot down. Yeah, by the Mujahideens. So we were like in Russian helicopters. I mean, Soviet helicopters, and it was. Our stuff was shot on the stage in I think it's like around Long Beach or something, and I remember we also came there for at Paramount. We came at a table read, and I remember the first time we were like he was riding this cart, like little like a studio cart, and he said, "Oh, you guys playing Russians?" Yeah, I said, yeah, I don't know why they hired. I don't know why they hired us. It's a coincidence. And he says, well, me too. meaning that him doing the movie is also like a, coincidence. It's not really, but it was funny. And also I remember seeing right there on the lot by one of the stages, Philip Seymour Hoffman. He was working on a script, and smoking a cigarette. I never forget this image. He's like so intensely looking at his lines and going over the lines in the script. It was. Michael Nichols is great. I mean, the way, very specific directions. When we were in, they had this simulator, like on stage, they had the helicopter, and we were inside of the helicopter, and it was very, again, it was just, we were there for like, I think, day or two, and the directions are very specific from what we had to do, and it's kind of tough because you basically had a conversation in between each other, the pilots, as they fly to bomb Afghanis, and then we're realizing that they firing at us, and then basically you have to play that short reaction before you get blown up. So it was interesting, and there was the whole day or day or two with Michael, and it's you could see. It's just the experience and that he has, and all the track record is amazing in The Graduate, and one of my favorite films. So it was an honor working with him.
Yeah, amazing. And what about you were on The Curious Case of Benjamin Button with David Fincher? Did he make you do 100 takes?
Because I heard he's doing like 30, at least 30 takes of each thing, and it was interesting. He's really, I like him a lot. He's like a kind of down to earth guy. Really, we were walking actually from the between the, I think on the break or something, and he's walking and he's coming to me and he's like, man, I want to get that shot. He wanted like the shot of a hummingbird, I guess, that symbolizes this infinity, because Richard Harris, his character refers to, anyway, and he's saying, the producers, and he was saying, they don't let me do the shot. He was telling me, like, or something. He was saying, I wanted to go with the master shot, and they told me you need to go there. And he said, but I knew, like he's basically sharing with me his ideas. It was great, It's and later the screening, we had a screening at the DGA, I think it was, and he came up. We were after, after the screening, and we talked briefly, and he said, man, I needed to get that. It would have been great if I got that, hummingbird shot, or like, you know what I mean? So but you could see like the guy is really, it's about the, creative stuff, that was, and what was also interesting, when I got on the set, on the day of the shooting, we have this, I'm sitting with a bunch of, because I'm telling this story, I'm translating the story that the captain tells to the crew, and I'm translating to this other, Russian guys, and we see on the side there's this old guy sitting by the table, and I'm like, what the hell is this? Who is, they brought this like some older actor. I didn't realize who was that, and then then it dawned on me, it's Brad Pitt. I thought, shit. I'm like thinking, who's that? They have this old guy, like, and that was Brad Pitt in this stage of when he's. that was hilarious. I'm like,
so he was in old man makeup.
Yeah, in that. I don't know. Did you see the movie?
Yes.
Yeah, so he's got. It was amazing. But he was in the old man makeup, and I'm not lying. I thought it's older character actor that they brought, and he's like sitting in, and I'm like, holy crap, man. Yeah, That was pretty
That's hilarious.
interesting. Yeah.
Well, have you kept up with the Mission Impossible franchise, or did you sort of stop after the one you were in?
Well, I mean, I watched the last one.
Fallout?
When did it come out?
That came out in 2018.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah, I loved it. I mean,
Okay.
Michael Nyquist. I did another film with Michael, the Hunter Killer. And then sadly, Michael passed away, and yeah, I love Mission Impossible movies. It's terrific. Yeah. I mean, do you guys know? Are they making a new one? Yeah.
They're making 2 right now. Yeah.
Oh, 2.
Yeah.
Wow.
But you know what? The fog is still out there rolling through the hills, so he could come back. Who knows?
Yeah, it's one of those rare things when I don't get killed.
Yeah.
So
That's true.
so
That's
that's
nice.
a positive thing. Yeah, I mean.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a positive note to end on, I think. And Ilia, thank you so much for helping us celebrate the 10th anniversary of Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol.
Guys, thank you so much.
And we're back. Charles, how you doing? How you feeling after that chat?
I feel great. That was a really nice chat. I think it was great to hear him talk about the roles he also had in Charlie Wilson's War and Benjamin Button. So I got to ask him about Mike Nichols and David Fincher, which is always nice to hear about those directors I admire and stuff like that. And the Brad Pitt story I thought was really hilarious.
Yeah, so we got it. We got to the bottom of the fog. A man mysterious, elusive, but we got there. We broke it down.
And he's still out there.
He is. Could he come back?
It was very funny and sad that he said it's one of the rare times where his character doesn't get killed off.
Listen, sometimes there are guys that are those bad guy types, and I guess that's him. But do we want to tease next week's episode?
Yeah, go ahead and tell him who we got.
Well, next week we have another actor from Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol who we cannot wait to share with you, and this is the guy who plays Bogdan.
Yes. I'm sure I'll mispronounce his name, but Miraj Gerbik, I hope.
Sounds good.
So anyway, he was really hilarious and fun to talk to, and so let's make sure you come back next week to hear what he has to say.
Yeah. So you got a lot of shout outs actually this week, right, Charles?
I do. I've got some people to thank. For this episode, I want to give a special thank you to Eddie Santos, to Friedrich Skaug Fadness, to Derek, and to Sonia Miranda. Thank you, Eddie, Friedrich, and Derek, and Sonia. And we can't do the show without you, so we're so happy to have you guys as part of our Patreon. And so all of you out there, please help us out. Sign up for the Patreon at patreon.com/lightthefuse. And if you're there, you get bonus episodes. You can sign up at the bonus content level, and you'll get bonus episodes every single week. We do extra stuff. We did just one about the Scream franchise. We're about to do one about the Matrix franchise. We've done all kinds of fun things. We tasted the Tom Cruise cake, and we did an episode about that. We did a whole ranking of all of John McTiernan's movies. So there's great stuff in our Patreon. You got to sign up, and it helps us make this show possible. So we are so thankful to all of our Patreon members for that. You can also support the show by buying some merchandise. If you go to our website, lightthefusepodcast.com, click on the merch tab, then you can check out some things there you can buy. It links you to our TeePublic page where you can buy some shirts or a mask or a pin or a sticker or whatever you want, a laptop case or a iPhone case, all kinds of fun things there. And then also, if you're on our website, check out our show notes in the episode guide. Look at each episode and check out. We got some really fun behind the scenes goodies there for you to look at. And what else, Drew?
You can follow us on social media. That would be a big help at LightTheFuse-Pod on Instagram and Twitter. And, just reach out. Let us know what you want to hear from us. If there are episodes or topics that you want us to discuss, we are happy to do it. We are looking for things to do episodes on. But we have some really fun stuff coming up in the next few weeks.
Should we tell them the thing that we uncovered or no? Should we just tease it?
Well, I think that's going to be its own. I think that's going to be a main feed episode.
Oh, it is. Absolutely.
But yeah, we can test it. You want to
tease it or tell people?
Yeah, tease it. Just tell them. They deserve it.
Well, with the help of Chris Soldo, who, if you recall, was the first AD on the first Mission Impossible, and we spoke to last year, he was able to dig up the disc. It's a very old, like the knock list disc from the first movie. It's an even older school disc than that one. It's not even it was a hard disk, right? It wasn't a floppy. He sent a picture of it.
Yes, it was a hard disk. It was not a. I feel like the disc in the movie is almost like a mini disc from that period.
It's got some kind of like CD thing in the middle of it and stuff. This is like just like a straight up square disc that you would put in your old
3.5
tower computer. And he got the file off of there and sent us the file of Robert Towne's draft of the first Mission Impossible, which is very different. I mean, it's almost exactly the same structurally, but every scene is different. And so we're going to do a whole episode about that. Similar to the episode we did on Oliver Stone's Mission Impossible 2, I think. We'll just break it down and talk about what is in this draft and how it's different. And there's a lot of really weird, different stuff in it.
It's a lot talkier than the movie that we ended up with.
It is.
Yes.
And as we heard from David Koepp, the whole story that, Robert Towne went off and did his whole thing. I think De Palma told us as well. And then De Palma was like, we didn't need to redo the whole script. So then Koepp had to pull things they liked out of the Towne draft and put it back into his original draft to create what we ended up seeing on screen. So anyway, it's going to be a fascinating episode. We're very excited about that. And I think that's it for this week, right?
Yeah, we'll be back next week with Mirage, a.k.a. Bogdan. So come on back.
Thanks again for listening, everyone. Before we go, another mission, should you choose to accept it, please rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. And remember that you can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at LightTheFusePod, and email us questions or comments at lightthefusepodcast@gmail.com. This message will self-destruct in 5 seconds.